Let's go back to our main story about the forcing through of the retirement reforms here in France using Article 49.3. It's caused great anger, certainly amongst opposition to Emmanuel Macron's administration. Joining us here in the studio, Raquel Garrido, who is an MP for La France Insoumise, France Unbowed. Thank you, Raquel, for being with us. Explain to this international audience that's watching you right now why this is such a huge issue in France.
Well, for two reasons. The first reason is that France is the only country in the world whose pension system isn't based on, how do you call it, la capitalisation in English? Is pay for yourself. How do you call it in English?
It's kind of self-funding your own pension,
yes.
I suppose, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's been a very French day for me, so I have to switch my brain to English. And so we have this pay-as-you-go system. And the French people are very fond of it. And the government wants to push the retirement age, the legal retirement age, age 64, from age 62 to from age 64. But the second problem we have is that the government has no majority to pass such a bill. It doesn't have a majority in the country. Opinion polls are very clear. 70% of the French are against this pension reform. Even 93% of the workers. So there's a consensus. Definitely, there's a consensus. It isn't even up for discussion, and it shouldn't be up for discussion in a normally functioning democracy. So now we have I was going to end with that. In France, we have a very special constitution. If you compare it to democratic standards across Europe, for instance. The French president is not accountable for his policies before the French parliament, which is crazy. In most of democratic or parliamentary systems, the parliament can overthrow the government, and also sometimes the government can dissolve the parliament, but not in France.
Are we coming now to 49.3, the use of this special article,
yes,
which clearly is pushing something through without a vote?
Exactly. So the Constitution says that the president can decide that a bill is considered voted when it isn't, and that just doesn't fulfill basic standards of democracy.
Is his argument that the Senate voted it through, therefore it can be considered voted through?
Well, it was voted in the Senate, but not in the National Assembly, which is the only
two houses of parliament.
Yes, yeah. and one, there's only one who is elected by the people. Senators in France are not elected directly by the people. And so, and the government has been voicing its will to pass the bill through the National Assembly, not to use Article 49.3, including members of the parliament that are actually favorable to Emmanuel Macron and to this bill, were convinced 10 minutes before we started today's session that there wouldn't be 49.3. So this came as a shock, and it was directly decided in l'Élysée, which is where the president has his headquarters. So the picture is really shocking, because you have a parliament, people are elected, and you have a president that decides just 5 minutes before the discussion is supposed to start that, well, finally there isn't going to be a vote because Mr. President is not exactly certain that he has a majority.
And what you're saying, Raquel, I understand, is the opinion of many people, not just yourself, not just your party. Raquel, we need to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in and explaining the context to us, because it's good to get that for our international audience so they can see precisely what's going on. Raquel Garrido of La France Insoumise, France Unbowed, thank you for joining us in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Do stay with us. More analysis of this story. Plus, we have coming up our interview with Imran Khan. Stay with us for that.